Today's AskReddit post. What do you know is true without evidence? What are you certain of, right down to your bones, without proof? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. There's a travel agency that's been around in my town for as long as I can remember. I wholeheartedly believe it's a front for the mob. You better keep quiet or you'll be taking an unexpected trip. We'll send you on a nice, long vacation. I've always wanted to see a comic about the mob telling some guy that he'll be sleeping with the fishes. Cut to the next screen and the guy is coming out of some underwater cave as a cigarette smoking fish in lingerie comes out and in her raspiest smoker's voice tells the guy to swim by any time. Do you write cutaways for Family Guy? Edit. OMG, I got silver for this comment. Is this what accomplishment feels like? Edit. The Ignite Award. I didn't even know that's a thing. I'd look it up but Ghost of Tsushima is too addicting. I appreciate it though. My brother deleted my game save on purpose. He was old enough to read. He knew what he was doing. I did. Oh shit, something's about to go down. Let me get my popcorn. Will you get me some too? Come on, siblings have to share. Mom said it's my turn to eat the popcorn. Most of this is just busy work to help the next generation out. Being born in a world with running water, power lines, fast food, and fast travel, it's hard to not appreciate humans for doing everything. The average middle class person of today has luxuries and a standard of living that far surpasses that of kings and queens from centuries ago. My sister ate the whole ice cream box without asking my parents. Edit. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but she didn't leave any ice cream. I don't know what happened to the box. Like the box too? Maybe it was just the box. Eyes. That a lot more famous actors than we realize are secretly the children of other famous actors from the previous generation. I call it the Hollywood bastard theory. A startling number of famous actors and musicians had rich or famous parents already connected in the industry. It seems the outsider making it big is more and more rare. 100 years from now only a handful of kids and grandkids will have any memory of my life. 200 years from now, at most I'll be a photo in an old family scrapbook with my name in the margin space. 300 years from now no one in my family will know I existed outside of a half-finished family tree. Yet ultimately all of their hopes and pains, successes and failures, dreams and depressions will be the direct result of my having existed. So it isn't that bad. Damn dog, this hit different. Got me contemplating my entire existence at 9:04 am on a Tuesday. What a great Tuesday at 9:08 am to skip work and contemplate my entire existence. That my last boss secretly hated me even though we had, on the surface, a very positive relationship. My boss acted like we were friendly and encouraged me to be open with her, and then I got fired out of nowhere. So, that was obviously an act. Edit. I get it y'all. Huge mistake on my own part to trust this person. Lesson duly learned. That my cousin stole my holographic first edition Charizard Pokemon card back in the early 2000s. I audibly gasped. That's like a cardinal sin. George R.R. Martin will never finish the last Game of Thrones book. Conspiracy theory. He's doing it intentionally so he will never have to risk writing a bad ending, and after his death, his books will remain legendary status forever. Just like every other unfinished great projects. Oh, I doubt they will receive legendary status if unfinished, as the whole thing has been sullied by the TV show and the prolonged wait that many fans don't even care anymore about the next book. I think the series will be used more as a warning tale for future writers to avoid the same mistakes as Martin. Especially don't make a story so complex you struggle to follow it yourself. That many fans don't even care anymore about the next book. Can confirm. If he finished the series, I doubt I would even read them at this point. At most I would wonder what he decided to do and look up the spoilers. I am properly over the story now. I agree. I've moved on from ASOIAF and have no real desire to go back. I will always be thankful for GRRM and his slow writing pace. Waiting for the next book led me to Wheel of Time. which was completed or very close to being completed, and that led me to Sanderson. Life on other planets. Not green one-eyes aliens, but even insects and things like that. Same. The universe is way too big for us to be the only ones out there. Here's a good point Neil deGrasse Tyson makes. We're not even made of odd stuff. Excepting helium, which is inert, we're pretty much made of the most common elements in the universe. Carbon is the most chemically fertile element, so it's no surprise we're carbon based. Plenty of carbon throughout the universe. It can't be just us. The numbers are just too staggering, and the material to make life as we know it is everywhere. Scientists made self-replicating molecules by slamming together the chemicals necessary for life in an environment of water, heat, and occasional shocks, lightning, which simulates how life on Earth started. That's pretty ducking neat. Wasn't it that they made amino acids by doing that? And those are the building blocks of protein. So it's logical to extrapolate that scenario building into something more complex. Burger King hash browns are just tater tots. Aren't McDonald's hash browns essentially big tater tots? Aren't all hash browns just tater tots? Edit. My highest upvoted comment is about potatoes. I think this says something about my life. Not the stringy kind like you get at some places. Like the ones at Waffle House are amazing, and definitely not tater tots. I exist. And if it really is all the Matrix, I don't have any bones anyway. Blue pill please. I forgot. What do the red and blue pills stand for? Red pill is the woke pill. You know the truth and reject the Matrix. Blue pill is the chill pill. Fuck that real shit. I'd rather live in blissful ignorance in the Matrix. Edit. I'm talking about the movie. By the by, I think I was going for a kinda hybrid between the two red pill meanings. Apologies for any misunderstanding. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. What if you eat both pills? Purple haze. That there is other intelligent life in the universe. We may never encounter it. Certainly not within any of our lifetimes. But it's out there somewhere. The universe is too goddamn big for us to be the only ones. Edit. If you are reading this and thinking of making a joke about how humans are not intelligent, well, I'm sorry, but approximately 100 people have beaten you to it. We have hardly explored the ocean in its entirety on our own damn planet, so it's amazing to think what else could be out there in the universe. What we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. If I'm stuck in traffic and switch lanes because the other lane looks like it will move faster, the lane I just switched from will automatically go faster. However, if you don't switch lanes, your lane will still go slow. So go ahead and switch lanes. Even though it doesn't change your commute time, it speeds it up for the rest of us. And to avoid cognitive bias, notice the moments when your lane is moving faster than the other. It will balance you out. Also, stick to the unwritten rule of not switching lanes unless you're sure that it will be beneficial to you. You look like an absolute douche when you cut someone off in traffic, and you get embarrassed when the person behind you passes you. Sometimes it's better for your mental health to not switch. Flat earthers are just doing it for attention. They really don't think the earth is flat. That's how it started off. Sure, I think it was circular. There was a very small group of people who absolutely believed the earth was flat. Then a bunch of people hopped on for attention. But now I fear some of those people got lost and truly believe themselves now in their delusion. Y'all. The question says without evidence. Exactly. Here's what I know for sure without any evidence. Proceeds to give all the evidence. I think if someone says without evidence and your only evidence is anecdotal, then that's still in the spirit of the question. Life exists outside of Earth. I can't imagine a universe where we are the only life. It would defy all odds that we're the only living thing in an endless space of planets. Each star in the sky has the potential for life, and there are so many more we can't see. I'm really ducking lucky, but like in a subtle way, like if there's a 95% chance I'll get hurt doing something stupid, I'll come out unscathed. Sometimes I think there's a guardian angel watching over me, making sure I don't kill myself by being an idiot. You growth the tree could fall into a dumpster full of dicks and come out sucking his thumb. Deja vu comes from previous dreams. There is some Godzilla shit at the bottom of our oceans. Deep sea gigantism will not fail me, if it's any consolation. If giants do exist down there, they will probably stay down there. Ocean creatures tend to stay in their zone of water pressure because that's what their bodies have adapted to. Some have more range than others. Ever seen a blobfish? Ever seen what a blobfish is supposed to look like at the depth it's supposed to live at? It gets all ducked up when it gets brought to the surface because of the water pressure differential. See also, giant squids. One of the only reasons we know they exist is because they die and float up here, or are very close to death and can't maintain proper buoyancy. They don't want to be up here. They prefer the crushing blackness. God, I'd be terrified to be that deep. And imagine, you hit what you think is the bottom, and you're insanely deep. Like, you were exploring the Mariana Trench, and then you find a cave. Think it's just going to be small. You start exploring. You get lost. You find some creepy shit. So many things that could kill. Drowning and beasts. Scary. Edit. I love Subnautica and have almost beaten it. Ghost leviathans and the big red and blue ones don't scare me. I like the ocean and its wonders. It's just the super deep without anything breaking the void but monsters bits that scare me. Or worse, you hit what you think is the bottom, only to realize you are stood on some huge sleeping sea monster. My phone is listening to me. It's simply not a coincidence anymore how my targeted ads change directly related to and after a conversation. People say we are just more predictable than we think, but I mention something I haven't even thought about for years and there it is on Instagram. A buddy of mine had a weird experience with this one. We were hanging out, playing a crafting game on Steam. I begin mining, and he accidentally falls into the hole I'm in, because it was kinda hidden in the foliage. This happens a few times, so he makes up a pretend organization with initials he made up. Think FCC or CIA, saying their regulations require holes to be marked. It's a fun joke. Anytime he wants me to do something he asks from the point of view of it's part of the guidelines. It's the law. There will be fines if you don't comply. Never once was it typed, searched, anything. Just verbally spoken. And then we both start getting ads for a company with those initials. Apparently belonging to a real company that we were 100% unaware of. Weird shit, dude. Definitely. Friend and I were talking about bulletproof vests in casual conversation. Can't remember why. Weren't interested in buying them or anything. And never googled or typed it in anywhere in my phone. Cue Facebook ads for bulletproof vests. You can't tell me FB randomly chose that when I never even typed it out, let alone googled. This exactly. A coworker was talking about traveling to Nepal. We discussed it on and off for an hour or two. I have never googled or looked up anything related to Nepal. At home for the next week I was getting tons of guided travel experiences in Nepal. I didn't even have my computer with me in the office. I didn't have Facebook or my personal accounts open on my work computer while we were talking. I'm sure I logged in on my work computer at me point in the past, but I mostly use that computer for offline programs. It's too big of a coincidence to not be related. But how did they know? 1. Do you have GPS turned on your phone? Could be that your coworker was googling it, and Google saw you spending a lot of time in their physical proximity. My ex-boss used COVID as an excuse to make me redundant because I was the only member of his team to be hired by someone else and not him. Fuck that guy forever. Lots of companies are using COVID to get away with all kinds of shit right now. 100%. We all lost our annual pay rises in April. Then in June we're told it's the best quarter the company has ever had. We work in IT. We got a temporary 7% salary cut so that they won't have to lay anyone off. I was alright with that. Then they laid people off anyways. Then they said it will probably last through December. Then I looked up the stock price. It's the highest it's been all year. It's $70 more per share than where we were last year. I'm not an economist but duck them. The Fed has worked hard to keep stocks up. but also your company may be funneling all that employee money into buying back their own stocks to bolster the value. That the funeral home by my house is run by some sort of criminal organization. I always see the same gangster looking guys hanging out in front of it smoking cigars and drinking beers. Does this funeral home have its own crematorium by any chance? Ozark has taught me that it can be a really convenient way to get rid of bodies. The most efficient way. Not everyone is meant to raise a child. Just because you can biologically create a child or financially support one does not mean you are meant to raise one. Thank you. Honestly, some people think even just the biological part is enough. In my experience, it's not that they biologically can. It's that they biologically accidentally did. That part's fine. It's the fact they have the audacity to say, as a parent, as if splodging inside someone or pushing out a baby somehow makes them smarter about anything when they were definitely dumb to begin with. I don't care who you are or what you think, or even what the science says. Geese are evil creatures. No good creature has teeth on their tongue. I almost shit myself the first time a goose hissed at me and I saw its tongue teeth. No thank you. I'm good. A goose hissing sounds like the most terrifying experience possible. 1 in every 3 or 4 people is not capable of critical thinking. And I'm not making some kind of point about politics or anything. I mean, those people are literally incapable of taking in information and synthesizing it with other information and coming to their own conclusions. They're basically robots programmed by whatever source is most convincing to them. I've considered the same idea at one point in time. I think that the population that is genuinely incapable isn't something like 1 in 4. It's probably lower, but it's far more likely that a greater portion of the population inconsistently applies critical thinking. An example of this would be someone who can apply it when they're at work but does not do the same when it comes to other aspects of their life, Big shrug, cuz who the duck knows in the end? I sure don't. I can only speculate. Edit. A word for clarity. I've thought about that. I've met a ton of people who seem dumb as a brick and yet succeed in other areas of life. You don't have to be smart to be successful. There is probably 7 degrees of separation from everyone and a serial killer. That number is probably lower than 7. Edit. Make it 3 degrees. I don't know the real number. The number doesn't matter to me. Really, the point was we're all close to a serial killer. I always wondered how Dexter could find a new victim every week. He lived in Florida. Hell, if I lived in Florida, I'd probably be a serial killer. 2. Obvious sarcasm tag. That 1-2 generations down the line, our use of technology will lead to extreme mental health issues. My brain feels deep fried from time to time and I haven't seriously started using a smartphone before I was already an adult. I hate how much I use my phone. I sometimes daydream about going back to a flip phone without the ability to access social media. I'll scroll through social media for hours every day, telling myself you need to do something better with your time. You hate this? Just put the phone down and do something else. Have a funny meme. Serotonin dopamine addiction and fatigue. Is ducking real? Man. That little blip of the chemical you get when scrolling gets less and less effective. So you scroll more and more. Almost every social media, popular mobile game, etc. plays off the concept. I saw a massive bee when I was younger, and when I tell someone they'd never believe me, I did too. I was a kid. I think I'm just stupid. It was dead. As big as my fist. And ants were eating it. That sounds like a cicada killer. That's what I thought too. It scared the absolute shit out of me the first time I saw one as a kid. I'm still not overly fond of having 2 3-inch long wasp looking things buzzing around my yard. You just made me remember an old ass buried memory. When I was a little girl, I used to sit outside and read books at my grandparents' home. It's an old home. Those fucking huge black carpenter bees were eating the wood of the house and would come out and duck with me because I was scared of them. Buzzing around and divabombing me. Duck them. Since the Manhattan Project, building of the nuke during World War II by a small group of scientists with unlimited resources, government's billionaires got spooked and science with a capital S, is no longer a free market of ideas, where any good idea can get pursued. Instead, scientists are very carefully guided towards projects with a funding model that is quite, perverse. Source: I'm a public funded scientist who's published in Cell. Still no real evidence for this though. I've made a similar comment before, but I'll make it again. Don't forget that if you perform science that someone doesn't like, they will most likely get rid of you and find someone who performs science in a manner that gets the results that they do like. I absolutely loved the time I spent in biology, but for the life of me I am glad I got out before I was too deep. The whole publish or perish system seems like it would disincentivize truly creative progress and scientific thinking anyways. No, most scientists are completely compromised by the simple fact that their livelihood depends on their success. Not only does your research depend on securing continual funding, but also your rent and groceries. So naturally you're gonna pursue research paths that are more likely to get funded, published, and you're gonna skew your results. Don't say it doesn't happen. To the same ends. Not to mention the fact that some scientists are literally paid to perform specific studies that will support corporate interests. Basically the whole research community is ducked. This is not to say that every scientist succumbs completely to all of these compromises. But when the incentives are there, it is enough to skew the overall product of the scientific community to be more generally full of shit. Are scientists using Patreon or a similar service yet? Because the classical concept of patronage, people with money appreciate what you do and pay you to just keep doing it, seems to work well for artists and other creative fields. Science is, at its core, a creative field, and scientists could do well seeking unbiased patronage rather than corrupt funding. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.